It was a dark and stormy night as Sarah and her friends, Jake, Emily, and Ben, embarked on a road trip to visit an old abandoned mansion rumored to be haunted. With the wind howling and rain pounding against the car windows, the atmosphere was set for an eerie adventure. As they drove deeper into the countryside, the roads became narrower, surrounded by dense forests that seemed to swallow up any trace of civilization. Sarah tried to keep the mood light by playing some music, but the tension in the air was palpable. Suddenly, the car's headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the twisted trees lining the road. Sarah nervously glanced at the fuel gauge, realizing they were running low on gas. They had no choice but to continue, hoping to find a gas station soon. As they rounded a bend, they came upon an old, decrepit gas station. Relieved, they pulled in, but the station appeared deserted. Sarah hesitantly got out of the car, her heart racing as she scanned the area. A sudden movement caught her eye, and she let out a scream as a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. "Relax, it's just me," Jake said, stepping into the dim light. "Let's see if we can find some gas." The group searched the abandoned station, but all they found was a dusty old pump that looked like it hadn't been used in years. With no other options, they decided to press on, hoping they could make it to the mansion before they ran out of fuel. Back on the road, the atmosphere grew even more tense as the darkness seemed to close in around them. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Suddenly the car lurched to a stop, the engine sputtering and dying. Panic set in as they realized they were stranded in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by darkness. "We have to get out of here," Emily said, her voice trembling with fear. But before they could decide on a plan of action, they heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the woods. Frozen with fear, they listened as the sound echoed through the night, sending shivers down their spines. "We have to go see what's out there," Ben said, his voice barely above a whisper. Reluctantly, they got out of the car and cautiously made their way into the woods, their hearts pounding in their chests. The darkness was suffocating, and every rustle of leaves sent chills down their spines. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they came upon an old abandoned cemetery. The gravestones were weathered and covered in moss, and an eerie mist hung in the air. Sarah's blood ran cold as she realized they were surrounded by the dead. Just then, they heard a low, guttural growl coming from the shadows. They turned to see a pair of glowing eyes staring back at them, filled with malice and hunger. Without hesitation, they turned and ran, the sound of their footsteps echoing through the night. But no matter how fast they ran, the creature seemed to be gaining on them, its growls growing louder with each passing moment. Just when they thought they couldn't run any further, they burst out of the woods and into the clearing where they had left their car. But to their horror, the car was gone, leaving them stranded in the darkness with nowhere to run. Terrified and exhausted, they huddled together, praying for morning to come. But as the night wore on, they realized they were not alone. Shadows danced in the darkness, and whispers filled the air, taunting them with promises of doom. Just when they thought all hope was lost, a faint light appeared on the horizon. With renewed determination, they pressed on, their fear giving way to a desperate need for escape. As the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, they stumbled out of the forest and onto the road, their bodies battered and bruised, but alive. They had survived the night, but they would never forget the horrors they had witnessed on that haunted highway.